This is a summary of press releases from Japanese electronics manufacturers on 9th December.
All right, first up, we've got something from Panasonic Connect. They've just rolled out a new welding machine, and this thing is designed to tackle some of the biggest headaches in modern manufacturing.
So, the tech we're talking about is called CO2/mag welding. And look, this is a huge deal in industries from car making to building ships. Basically, what it does is use a special gas to shield the weld, to protect it from the air. This gets you that super clean, super strong bond between the metals. And in this game, precision is absolutely everything.
So you might be asking, why a new machine right now? Well, it's because the manufacturing world is kind of facing a perfect storm. For starters, there just aren't enough skilled welders to go around. At the exact same time, the materials they're working with are getting way more complicated. Then you throw in the constant push for better quality and, of course, being more eco-friendly, you can see why the industry is screaming for a new solution.
And here it is. This is Panasonic's answer, the fully digital YD350NR1. Now let's be clear, this is not just some minor update. We're talking about a whole new generation of machine, built from the ground up to tackle every single one of those challenges we just talked about.
Okay, so how does it actually perform? The big headline number is this: an incredible 81% maximum reduction in spatter. Now, if you're not in the know, spatter is that messy stuff that happens during welding. Those little molten metal bits that go flying everywhere. To cut that down by that much, that's a game changer. It means you get way higher quality welds, you spend a whole lot less time cleaning up, and you end up with fewer defects. It's a huge win.
And it's not just about quality, it also tackles that whole sustainability angle. Thanks to some really advanced inverter control tech, this machine can cut CO2 emissions by up to 22% compared to the older models. That is a really significant step for any factory trying to go green without having to slow down.
So if you look at the whole design, it really comes down to three key things. First, it delivers amazing, high-quality welds. Second, it's so simple to operate that even a beginner can get great results. And third, it's built to be sustainable. We're talking good for the planet and good for the company's bottom line.
Let's dig into that easy operation point for a sec, because this is really cool. Traditionally, getting a perfect weld, well, it was basically an art form. It took years of experience. But the YD350NR1 totally changes the game. Instead of having to rely on an expert's gut feeling, it has something called a welding navi that literally suggests the best settings for you. And if you run into trouble, there's a welding concierge to walk you through it. It basically takes this high-level skill and makes it accessible to a whole lot more people.
And you can tell Panasonic is really thinking about the long run here. It's got a USB port, which means you can get software updates. So as new materials and new welding methods come out, the machine can actually evolve with them. You add in easy maintenance and the fact that it can connect to the factory's main systems, and what you have is an investment that's truly future-proof. All right, so from one industry getting a digital makeover, let's jump to another. We're moving from the factory floor over to the construction site. Panasonic Housing Solutions has just announced a brand new service for the building industry.
The big idea here is something called BIM, which stands for Building Information Modeling. The best way to think about it is like this: forget old-school 2D blueprints. This is a full-on, comprehensive 3D digital model of the entire building. It's got everything, from the big structural beams right down to the last bit of electrical wiring, all living together in one digital space.
Now, this isn't just some optional, nice-to-have tech. It's actually becoming mandatory. The Japanese government is making BIM a requirement for getting building permits. It's starting in April 2026 and will be even more widespread by 2029. So you can imagine, this creates a massive, urgent need for construction companies to get on board with this new digital standard, and fast.
Okay, so with that government deadline breathing down everyone's necks, what problems does a BIM service actually solve for the folks out there doing the work?
Well, it turns out it solves some of the most expensive headaches in the entire construction industry. Just think about it. How many times has a project been held up because, whoops, the plans have a pipe running right through a massive support beam? BIM lets you catch those kinds of clashes in the digital model, way before a single drop of concrete is poured. That saves a ton of money and time on rework. And, just as importantly, it helps those smaller local companies get up to speed with this whole digital transformation, something that can be really tough and expensive to do all by yourself.
And it's important to know, this new service is tailor-made for Panasonic's own building method, which they call Technostructure. This is their tried-and-true system that uses a really smart mix of wood and steel to build incredibly strong earthquake-resistant houses. So what this BIM service does, really, is create a perfect digital twin of that physical structure.
So the benefits here are super clear. Number one, you can see everything in one place, so you catch mistakes before they happen. Number two, it spits out the data in the exact format you need to breeze through those new government permit applications. And number three, it's a lifeline for smaller construction companies, giving them the tools they need to jump into the digital age and stay competitive.
You know, all of this brings us to a really interesting final thought, doesn't it? We just looked at a smart welding machine that makes a complex skill easier and a digital service that makes construction more efficient. Both stories are really pointing to the same big trend. As our tools get smarter and smarter, what happens to the role of the skilled human worker? How does their job evolve? That's a huge question, and it's one that pretty much every industry is going to have to figure out.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a like.